Hello, 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 everybody. This is Irina Strunina, and this is our weekly podcast, Diabetically Speaking with Smart Move 360. This is the place where we meet every week on Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time and talk about life with diabetes. Usually, my guests are healthcare experts in most cases. They could be doctors, they could be dietitians, personal trainers, maybe life coaches, people who in their work meet with people with diabetes on a regular basis, and they are sharing their experiences, their expertise. They give some ideas for people to consider, to discuss with their primary care providers. But every last Thursday, I meet with people who actually experience this diagnosis, people who live with this diagnosis. We call it diabetes warriors. And today is one of these episodes. It's interesting story with Ken. We met just few hours ago, Matt. He joined our Facebook group, Diabetes 101 for Beginners. He and his wife, Lauren, she is also our guest today. They are starting an initiative that we will talk about today. And I thought this is a great topic to talk about on today's episode. And we decided they fortunately had time to connect with me, and we are doing this together today. So everybody has a chance to hear the story and see if they want to do something challenging for themselves as well. So welcome to the show, Ken, Lauren. Great having you here. And the first thing, as always, Ken, please tell us your story. You said you have this diagnosis. How long ago you've been diagnosed? How did you learn about it? How did you process it? It all helps to connect, to relate to you. We have so many people joining our group without much information about this diagnosis, and they are happy to hear that they are not alone, that there are other people who sometimes caught off guard, sometimes learn it in a very weird circumstances. So please tell us your story, and we'll go from there.
Sure. Thank you so much. And thank you for giving us the opportunity. So I, Mine goes back a ways, and I can do that. But really, for me, it hit in 2023. In December of 2023, I got my diagnosis. The doctor really didn't explain things very well to me. And getting the diagnosis of type 2 diabetes, I was just given the instructions to go eat less and move more. And I get that they thought that I was active and was on the go, so that maybe I could just do that. But I'd always been dealing with my weight ever since really even before my late wife passed away. I was a cancer survivor. I was dealing with hypertension, migraines. I was even diagnosed when I was 9 with child's rheumatoid arthritis, all signs of insulin resistance that I understand now, that was building.
Mhm.
And what I also learned, one of the things that I struggled with for a long time was acid reflux, and had been on Nexium for almost 20 years,
Mhm.
and taking an extremely high dose of it in order to keep it under control, not knowing that that too was one of a number of medications that can contribute to that diagnosis. So for me, 2023 hit really hard. It was right before Christmas. And that Lauren and I are actually both widows. We met and got married, and our spouses died from complications of insulin resistance, chronic diseases related to that. Wasn't diabetes, but I was kind of like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't know what to do, and I started just delving into working out and trying to eat less and doing calorie restriction. And Lauren had started, as you know, on a more natural protocol, And for me, I kind of watched the changes that started to happen. I didn't know that she had gotten the diagnosis with prediabetes. We really didn't share that. But I started to see her neuropathy, fibromyalgia, start to change, and she started getting more mobility, started to lose some weight. And then in April, we had the conversation about what she was doing. And I said, "Oh my gosh, I'm interested in this." And that led me down the road of this whole thing of I have a master's degree. I've been a pastor for 30 years. I was like, I like to research, so let me delve into this and starting to understand what natural things that could be done and the priority on learning about meal order and meal sequencing
Mm-hmm.
as a way to control.
Yes.
I decided to I went for my own education to become a nutrition coach, and to understand how I could stimulate my body's natural GLP-1.
Mm-hmm.
Doctors never explained that to me, that my body made that. So once I started on, the same, approach to things that Lauren was doing, I started to see my blood pressure come back down. My migraine stopped, and within oh goodness gracious, within a matter of about 6 months, I saw my diabetes. Rev I say reverse. I know that's kind of a questionable term for some people.
Uh-huh.
Remission, reverse. It's kind of potato potato. In
Yes.
my estimation. But those lifestyle changes put it into reversing. In that I'm no longer, by the numbers, I'm no longer a type 2 diabetic.
Mm-hmm.
So. And so managing that then is really the same things that got me there are the same things that I continue to do. And it is meal order, prioritizing fiber when I eat,
Mm-hmm.
prioritizing the teas that I drink in order to make sure that I'm stimulating my GLP-1, doing the practices of regularly of intermittent fasting and
Yes.
learning those benefits and delving into that has been just absolutely life transformational for me. And that's where I'm at today. Um,
Correct. Well, first of all, congratulations of gaining control over your health. This is such a great result, and this is what I really wish to everyone to stay in control and
yeah.
don't react, but rather be proactive and make a choice to be healthy, to enjoy life, to enjoy healthy, what health allows us to do. You guys live in Alaska. Is it cold there right now? It's January.
Um, we're sharing the weather right now. It
Yeah, it's
seems like, I
cold in
mean,
Atlanta.
right. Actually, we're a little warm. We're in the 30s, which for
Oh
us is kind
no,
of
we are
warm
in
this time of year.
20s. Wow.
Well, just so it makes you feel better, we were negative 22 just about a month ago.
Oh no,
So,
this is something not
uh,
for us here.
Well, keep in mind, Irina, I lived in Atlanta, around Atlanta for about 20 years before coming up here, so I
Okay.
know your weather too. Uh,
Okay.
uh,
All right. Well, so Ken, I had to look a little bit around and see about you, and I looked on your profile, and in one of the posts there, you said, "My wife saved my life." How? What the story? What is the story?
well, for me, it was watching what she was doing. We uh, we were going on vacation, and she had started this new protocol, and she was prioritizing fiber and tea when she was drinking, and so she was doing that. So I started watching it. And what she was doing, and her being a doctor, and the thing is, and I always tell, I joke around and I say to people, look, sometimes you really need to listen to your wife. Sometimes they know what you're talking about. When you're married to a doctor, it's always a good thing to do.
Yes.
um, and I will admit, I'm a little dense. I can be stubborn, but I watched and I saw that the lifestyle changes that she was doing were ones that were beneficial. And when I started to see, particularly that neuropathy and fibromyalgia
Uh-huh.
that she had been suffering with, and the weight and the mobility all start to change. And she told me and started talking to me about this. That was where it really became, hit for me was okay, if she's doing this and it's showing these changes, and it is all science based, it is backed by nutrition science, it's been in dietary science, it's in research science, everything about things like the benefit of fiber. We see that in controlling blood sugar, the CDC, which is there in Atlanta, the
Yeah.
Ohio State, UCLA, reading those articles, going to PubMed, studying and learning the importance of fiber controlling glucose, and then learning about chlorogenic acid as a stimulant in certain teas and foods that we eat that stimulate GLP-1. That was really fascinating for me. And that's something, of course, with Dr. G, she gets that. So for me, it was kind of like a whole new education. And then, we've really been blessed to be able to go listen to people like Dr. Ben Bickman, who wrote
Uh-huh.
Why We Get Sick, and Jason Fung about intermittent fasting, being able to be on calls with Mindy Pels, and some of these people that in the metabolic health area focusing on helping us who are diagnosed with this, and trying to help people understand we can prepare ourselves, we can know things. And nobody in my family, here's the thing, Irina, that I don't think most people realize, for many of us, nobody in my family had ever been diagnosed with diabetes.
Yes.
And I never saw myself as somebody that would even be concerned about it. I mean, yeah, I was a little pudgy, but I was 50 pounds overweight. I don't make any bones about it. I mean, I needed to lose weight, but I didn't understand what had been happening with our food system and how we were eating, and just the order that I was eating made all the
Mm-hmm.
difference. So she started me down this road, and I said, I listened to my wife, and it really did save my life.
Perfect, perfect. Lauren, what was your experience? Because you were watching Ken, but he just mentioned you also had to start making changes. What was it? What caused it for you? What was your, turning point?
Well, glad you asked. Well, for me, was a month later, I had gone, believe it or not, to the same doctor, and I was diagnosed as a diabetic, pre-diabetic, but I didn't get the same instructions as he did. I got the instructions of lose weight and eat better, not not what he got. And then I got
Mm-hmm.
4 medications handed to me.
Mm.
I knew
So
that.
just a second, he got diagnosed but didn't get medication, and you have the pre-diabetes and got the medication?
Yes.
Interesting.
Interesting, very interesting. And so with that, I was also told that, in 3 months we're going to check you. That's a standard, 90 days we check
Yes.
you again. And if this metformin doesn't work, then we're going to go to something, a shot of some sort. And
Mm-hmm.
like, hold on. And interest again, like Ken mentioned, he said that we're both widows, and so I didn't tell him right away that I'd been diagnosed. I was trying to figure it out, and he also didn't tell me right away. So we were both trying to figure it out. I think we were trying to just kind of process the whole thing, and similar to his situation, about 10, 15 years prior to my diagnosis with that, I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, with thyroid cancer, and with also hypertension. So I was placed on medication for thyroid, of course, because I did have a complete thyroidectomy, placed on medication for high blood pressure. So I was on high blood pressure for 15 years. And
Mm-hmm.
the goal for me when that happened, I was like, oh no, this is not going to last. No, I'll get off of it. Well, 15 years goes by. And the next thing you know, now I'm a pre-diabetic. And so I basically knew that diabetes is a dietary disease. We eat our way into it. We can eat our way out of it. It's just knowing how to do that.
Yes.
And so with that information, I started looking into, well, what was causing all these issues? What was going on? How could we use our food? Let food be thy medicine, let medicine be thy food. How can we use this to help us? And food sequencing, fiber we don't get nearly enough fiber in our diet these days. And then, of course, the way that, and fasting's a big one. I know people are very intimidated by that, but you don't have to be if you know how to do it the correct way. And so I shared this with him, and he began to understand, oh, this is, I see, I shouldn't be, this is something that if I want it, I can have it. Just I need to do it in a certain way. I need to eat that fiber first, concentrate on proteins and fats. And when you do that, it's amazing how your body responds, because it's not about calories in, calories out, because food is digested and it's processed in different ways. Your macronutrients are all processed and broken down and metabolized differently.
Definitely. Well, this is something, thank you for bringing this up, because a lot of times this is what the biggest challenge people have. They don't know what to change. They think that they eat well, that they eat healthy, but they don't know what else can I do. And
Right.
you're right. They're not huge changes, just the order you eat, maybe the portions you eat, increase this and a little bit smaller portion of that will bring a big difference, right? So there is one more thing that I always saying that diabetes is a team sport. And I'm glad that after some period of time, you both came to realization that you have a communication challenge there, and you went, got over it. So now you are communicating. You're sharing the new what you've heard, what you experienced, what your blood work is, right? You're not hiding it from each other anymore.
Oh, no.
No,
We're
no,
definitely
definitely.
working together at this.
Is there a
No, definitely.
competition, or you are not?
No competition. It's easier to
No.
work together.
Yeah,
Definitely.
and that's what we do. We like to do this together, and we go around and we talk about it. We try to help people with it, and and they're finding a big part of it was Dr. G too. I say that I always call her Dr. G, so you find us online. I'll say that. But part of this was a protocol that's in the provider's digital reference, so it has the medical backing behind it that really kind of gave us the impetus for this too, that just reinforced everything that was here to make sure that we had a natural way of doing this.
Definitely, definitely. Well, you see, I hear so many people every day. I hear, I read the stories in our Facebook group, Diabetes 101 for Beginners, how people went to the doctor for their annual, maybe went to the doctor because the headache is not going away, maybe got admitted to the hospital because some skin issue, some abscess or whatever, not healing wound, and learn that they have this diagnosis. Especially
Right.
those in the hospital, they don't get much instructions at all. They send to their PCP. Not everybody has a PCP. This is another story. But even when they go to their primary care and they say that I have diagnosis, my husband, I am a widow myself, and he didn't get much instructions either. He had
Mm.
this direction, basically eat better, exercise more. At that time, he was already he was released from the 17 days in ICU with a lot of extra inflammation in his body. So we had first take care of this inflammation, then take care of his diagnosis, but not that much. Take your pills and show up every 3 months, and that was all management that we really got. And only 11 years later, we learned about the existence of diabetes education program. For 11 years, we were really kind of trying to do our best without knowledge about the food order, without knowledge about the macronutrients, without knowledge about a lot of things. So this is why we have this podcast to create a wave and let people know that hey, uh, there is information available, there is help available. There are people who've been in your shoes before and they got some information willing to share. And I really, one more time, appreciate you both jumping on this podcast. Um, can you please tell about this initiative that you are taking? What is this you are starting in the next week? What is it?
Oh, wow. Yeah. So the 14-day sugar detox. Well, a big part of it, I'm going to point back to my wife. This He came to me and said, "Hey, we need to do this. I've got a friend of mine that's doing this, just done this, and I think we ought to do this with the people that we know that we're talking with and helping." And I said, "All right, so let's make plans. Let's do this." Because what I find it, and some people have already asked me about it on the page, well, what kind of sugars are you looking for? And, I always tell people, ultimately, I find there's always a good time for renewal. First of the year is always a good time. Being a pastor for 30 years, this is the carnival season. We're getting close to the season of Lent is always a good time of
Yes.
renewal. And we get a lot of things that creep in. No matter how consistent you are, sugar creeps in. And when we understand its impact on our body, and particularly those that are dealing with type 2 diabetes, and, I've seen people, I've sat with people in the hospital with heart disease. I've sat with families who are having to see their parents having feet and legs amputated. I've seen firsthand the impact and going, I don't want that. And I don't want anybody else with that. Well, it's all this terms that we use. And I always tell people words matter. And, Lauren told me when she was back in medical school, one of the big aspects of what they taught was this was known as sugar diabetes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, isn't it amazing how we take words out of our terminology and it, in essence, hides it from people
Yes.
that there is a root to this that is stimulant and it is and I know there's like you said we got to be careful. We can't give there's no medical advice, but it's I'll refer back to my wife. There's a reason you get second opinions, because within the standard of care, doctors all have different opinions. They have different backgrounds in education, and
Yes.
some of them are going to approach things different. um so when she brought this to me, I said, well, absolutely, sugar's creeping in. That has been one of the things that's been hardest for my acid reflux and GERD, was cutting sugar out. And any time I know that I've had sugar, my acid reflux comes up. So for me, that was like, hey, this is great. I've been noticing that. I know for me, it is certainly, we've cut out a lot of the things in bags and boxes and bottles with barcodes.
Yes.
But there's other things that creep in. Somebody asked on the Facebook group about that, well, what sugars are you detoxing? Well, part of me says, what sugars do you need to detox? Because breads, rice, pastas all become sugar.
Yes.
And those can provide a lot of that irritation and inflammation. So for us, it was a matter of saying, hey, if we're doing this, I bet some other people would like to do this together. People often feel alone if they're doing a challenge and they don't want to feel shame, but they don't, they want to know there's other people there cheering them on. And so in a couple of the groups, and yours was one, that I've appreciated some of the comments and watching people's journey. I said, well, this might be helpful for some people. So why don't I put it out there, and share it with them?
Absolutely. Yes. The November is the Diabetes Awareness Month. I did it already for 4 years. Every day on the month of November, I go for a walk, like 1 mile. I usually walk longer, but for 1 mile, invite people to join me on a walk. I don't know how many people started doing it, but I totally appreciate your initiative because, yeah, sometimes all people need to see that somebody else is doing it. And Lauren, what are the, so to me, it sounds a little bit vague what sugars you are fasting from. What exactly you are putting for yourself, how you will be structuring your fast and your family.
Oh, good question. Thank you for asking. Sugars in everything. I think if you look, there's over 270 names for sugar
Yes.
that there's allowed to be on, our packaging. And one
Mm-hmm.
that I like to remind people is when you go to the store, if you pick up that box or that bottle, if it takes you longer than 3 to 5 seconds to read the back of it, number one, there's either too many ingredients, or number two, there's too many ingredients you can't pronounce. And those
Yes.
are things that you should not even be eating. So you want to be really cognizant of those sugars that are the hidden sugars, but also when it's right there, pure cane sugar. So I think the easiest way to start with this is start eliminating what you drink that has sugar in it.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll be surprised what actually has sugar in it and how much sugar that is. And then take it, we're encouraging people to take it slow. And this is at your own pace, go the first day or the first couple of days, eliminate if you drink a lot of soda or whatever you drink, those fruit juices, start eliminating those and then start seeing how you feel and then progressing that way. Then it could be condiments. Condiments are notorious for having hidden sugars in them. And it's starting to look for things that you wouldn't normally look for and where sugar might be. Again, concentrating on good proteins and fats, because when you are able to do that, you're less likely to be distracted by all that, the food noise of sugar.
Yes, definitely. And it's only 2 weeks, so 14 days. It's not for the rest of your life, although I know that some people actually get excited about results they get during some whatever challenge they take on, and they just continue on doing that. So that's a, I think, a reasonable, uh, tolerable time frame to start with, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Right.
so
Well,
uh,
when we talked about it, I thought February was good if we start on February 1. Then if you want to break it, you can love yourself and reward yourself on Valentine's Day
with
and
a
say,
good
there you
dark
go.
chocolate, right?
Right. But the
Right.
great part about it is you got to learn the process so that, and the thing that we always teach people, when you learn the ways of doing this and you get the right support, you never fall off the wagon. You don't have to. It's the
Exactly.
consistency and surrounding yourself with support.
Totally, totally. Yes, consistency. And when you know that you are not by yourself, somebody else is doing it, and maybe the whole team is doing that, it's much easier to, first of all, to show up because there are people looking at your results. And the other one is like, ah, today I am not up to par, but I just will show up and do my part without enthusiasm.
Right.
All right. So perfect. Can you posted that you starting it? How people can learn or maybe report about it? Do you have a Facebook group or website where they can join it?
Yeah, actually, we do. And Healthy Together and Feeling Great is our Facebook group that we have that we've been doing now for just over a year. That we invite people to be in there. We'll have information there on that. You can always find it at my page. We'll be posting, across both mine at Ken Hagler and then over Dr. Lauren Gagliano. Isn't that right? That's your page now. Um, so you can find us there, but yeah, on Facebook, and we also have a YouTube page where videos will be posted as well. And so you can reach out to us. Any of the spots would be great. Healthy Together at Healthy Together AK is our YouTube channel.
Okay. Well, we will post the names into description of this episode, so anybody who is interested will have a chance to go click on the link and get connected this way. Perfect.
I can.
Well, I again would like to thank you both, Ken and Lauren, for joining me today. Dr. Lauren, we will meet with you again. I would love to have a uh, conversation, deeper conversation with you as an healthcare expert about life with diabetes. So I'm not, I'm looking forward to this conversation. But before we stop today's show, I wanted to remind our viewers about few things that we have in our Facebook group. So first of all, one more time, that the group is Diabetes 101 for Beginners. And this podcast episode, just like every other that we had already recorded for 3 years, this is our fourth season. You could find on our YouTube channel, which is Smart Move 360. And the podcast name is Diabetically Speaking with Smart Move 360. The other point that I wanted to remind everyone, that every other Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, we have our support group meeting. So this is some place that we meet in Zoom. It's not on Facebook. And people who log in, they can share their challenges, their questions. Very often we have dietitian joining us there, so you could get the responses right away. One more thing I wanted to remind, that started 2025 last year, registered dietitian Kim Kyle and myself, we are hosting this once a month 2-hour crash course. This is the conversation about diabetes with caregivers, because so often caregivers have very little information about what is going on with their loved ones. So we are trying to educate them and give them this necessary information that we found ourselves we were missing when we were taking care of our loved ones. And of course, every Thursday we have our podcast, and I am here to inviting everyone. First of all, if you feel that you have a story to share, please reach out. I would love to interview you on this podcast and share with this Warrior Edition. If you have your favorite healthcare provider and you think that they are such a great help to you, and you would like them to be interviewed on our podcast, please connect me with that person. If you feel that this information that we're sharing here could be good for someone you love and care about, please share this episode and our podcast itself with that person. Of course, if you're listening and liking it, don't forget to put thumbs up, because this is what is helping our information to be spread around. And that's the end of today's conversation. I will put the link for the challenge that Ken and Lauren are starting in the description of this podcast. Of course, somebody will be listening to this episode much later when the challenge is already over, but you always will be able to reach out to them to talk about, ask them questions about the results of their fast, and see how did that go. Maybe look on their Facebook and see what videos, or YouTube channel, what videos, what reports are there. This is it. 30 minutes goes fast. Thank you very much again for being my guest. Everyone, be healthy, be active, be a participant, and just reach out if you need help. Till the next week.